Since the earliest days of Indian independence, farmer entrepreneur B.R Barwale has led the way in privatizing the development and distribution of high-yielding hybrid seeds, and in the process helped provide his countrymen that which is fundamental to freedom: food security. For his leadership role in the development of the private seed industry in India, we honor Mr. Barwale as the 1998 World Food Prize Laureate. During the years of Barwale's youth, the income of most Indian farmers was so small that the prospect of more land or better tools was dim. Indian farmers often lived and died in debt. Seldom was there enough to eat. Barwale worked to transform his family's farm into something more than a subsistence effort, and he looked forward to the day when large quantities of food could be grown domestically by many Indian farmers and shipped to the burgeoning cities to increase the food supply. Barwale's family farm thrived, and many other farmers began buying his okra seed at local markets, knowing the carefully cultivated varieties were certain to germinate and produce healthy crops. When officials from the Rockefeller Foundation, working in India, decided to help create a private sector seed industry to expand the government's efforts, they went to Barwale on the strength of his reputation. Barwale jumped at the opportunity to try these new varieties and achieved great success. Responding to the need for a production system, Barwale took associates and began marketing his own brand name varieties. Though there was virtually no support for such a private sector effort, Barwale persevered, creating a modern seed industry that greatly supported the Indian Green Revolution. Barwale's foresight, initiative, and persistence gave India's private sector the boost it needed to leverage the government's activities. In 1964, he founded Maharashtra Hybrid Seeds Company, better known today as Mahiko. It took years of hard work. Most Indian farmers could not read the instructions on bags of seed and fertilizer, nor properly complete forms to obtain agricultural loans. Barwale traveled the countryside, making countless speeches to groups of farmers and demonstrating his planting techniques. He persuaded farmers to buy his seed and recruited growers to produce seed for his company. He personally guaranteed bank loans for farmers who borrowed money to invest in their plots. Barwale had a passion for quality and launched Mahiko's research program in 1966. New hybrid crosses were rigorously tested for uniformity, disease, and pest resistance, and increasing crop yields. Barwale also worked with the Indian government to draw the blueprint for the development of the seed industry, and was an advocate of seed industry cooperation, encouraging other seed companies to collaborate and share ideas for mutual benefit. Barwale's contribution to the development of the private sector in India strengthened the seed supply and increased the distribution of quality seed in India to more than 40 times the level of the early 1950s. Today, India's private sector is capable of providing nearly 40% of the high-yielding varieties and hybrid seed used in the country. And it is estimated that about 50% of the food produced in India, a country that in recent years has become food self-sufficient, is grown from seed provided by the private sector. The human impact of Barwale's accomplishments has resulted in greatly increased agricultural productivity and the creation of tens of thousands of rural jobs. Most of all, Barwale's impact is evident in the faces of those who now have more to eat, thanks to the improved quality, quantity, and availability of life-giving food throughout India. Yet, Barwale's work is not finished. He established the Mahiko Research Foundation to address the growing needs of the population in India with a major focus on crop research in rice. Barwale is also working with officials who today are seeking to duplicate the Barwale model in Africa. Through his efforts, the Mahiko Research Foundation Trust has established a state-of-the-art ophthalmology center to provide free or subsidized eye care to the rural poor. In addition, Barwale remains committed to building facilities in education and health care that help the rural population of the area where he first got his start. During India's Green Revolution, several new genetic strains of plants were made available for use by Indian farmers. But those marvels of science could only take root if someone put them into seed varieties that worked in particular soils and climates. Barwale did that, and more. he helped develop a private sector infrastructure through which the hybrid seeds could also be distributed throughout his country. This is why we honor B.R. Barwale with the 1998 World Food Prize. His work in both agriculture and business has not only helped deliver much of the Green Revolution to Indian farmers, but it can be said that he truly helped sow the seeds of freedom through increasing food security.